going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's J-Rod and this is J-Rod's Life, and today we got a pretty cool one for you. Finally got my first longbow. It just came in the mail and we got a nice big long box, and we're gonna do a little unwrapping and set up, show you guys kind of how I set up my bow, maybe give you guys some pointers, and then we're gonna get to shooting. So come along for this little journey and let's get right into it. This is a long box, guys. Probably the longest bow box I have gotten in the mail so far yet. And I love archery, and I know I'm going to love whatever bow I get, but I want to go ahead and get, I don't want to take steps, because I know I'm going to love it. But the Montana bow was more of a beginner, kind of intermediate longbow. If I'm going to spend the money, we're going to go ahead and get a good one. So I got the Ausable 64-inch longbow. It's a beautiful bow. Wow. Look at that. My first longbow. So one thing right off the bat is we do not have the arrow shelf, arrow rest is just bare wood. So we're going to need to get a little something to put on that. I can get creative with that. I'll either get the bare rest or we'll find something else to be able to rest the arrow on. But yeah, this is a 55 pound at 28 inches draw. I'm a 30-inch draw. My Kodiak 59 is 55. And I'm shooting about 60 pounds with it. So this will probably be around 60 pounds as well. So I noticed in looking at it that it had a long kind of taper here where your hand goes, your grip. And I kind of like that. I got a pretty big hand. I'm probably going to be canting this bow a little more, especially if I'm hunting out of a tree stand with it. All the bow shops are closed because it's Sunday. We're going to head to Bass Pro Shops. Isn't my favorite place to go, but it's pretty cool. We're going to pick up some knock string. I don't like to use brass knocks because I do anchor off my face and I do gap shoot, so I don't want a brass knock point hitting my face. And I like to double knock it too. I'm going to show you guys how I do that. We're going to try to look for an arrow rest. We're going to get a few other things. Hopefully they have a beaver tail. If not, not a big deal. Yeah, and then we're going to get this bow all strung up, put the right twist in it, get a good brace height, start playing around with our arrows, and then fine tune our knock points once we get it shooting well. All right, we'll see you guys at Bass Pro Shop. Alrighty, guys. This is also made by Bear. Let me get this thing popped open. It's so cool that they had these. I was very surprised that Bass Pro Shop had this. So this goes on the side of the bow. All right, so we're going to measure this and cut it. So let's... And kind of trim this corner off because it's a little round. Perfect. Check that out, guys. We push that thing on there hard. Okay, air rest done. Alright guys, so I like to put my beaver balls, I guess I never set up a longbow before. On my recurve, I like to put it close to where that string, where I think the string is going to smack. I'm going to come down a little bit further on the longbow, but not too far from the top, so give or take 8 to 10 inches from the top is usually pretty good. So we're going to undo this string. And then you work that beaver ball into the string. So you just piece like this. You start with that top piece and then you weave it in and out of the string. And then you just wrap this around. And then you open your string back up. Make sure every little fiber is pulled apart. And you put that other side of the beaver ball in there, and then you pull it tight. And then you get that. So we're going to do that to the bottom side, and then those will be on. Alrighty guys, so it's the next day. We are going to grab this bow and string it. Put some knock string on it and kind of get a baseline for it. You always want to keep your bows in on a very flat spot. You want to keep them like this so they don't end up warping. You don't want to lay them on the sides. It's always better to have them on their belly. Alright, so let's go ahead and string this guy. Alright guys, we got some knot point peep tying thread. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the arrow on. We're gonna get that knock high. That is going to be a good base start to tuning this bow. We're not gonna tie it tight. That way we can start adjusting it down, and as soon as we see that arrow start to fly really good, then we'll tie it on solid, and then put our second knock point, and I'll talk a little bit about that when I get there. So we're going to take a little piece. And you can see how the knock is high. It's not perfectly level. I want to go a little higher to see how it shoots right there. And then we're going to start shooting there and see how it works. And then slowly move it down until it starts really shooting well. So the first thing in figuring out this bow is figuring out the gap. Like I told you guys before, I gap shoot. So we're gonna aim at the bottom target. We're gonna aim dead center with the tip to see how high that arrow goes at 15 yards. And then we can bounce back to about 20 and then start really messing around with the arrow flight. Well, that was pretty much, that was a tad high. Alright guys, so my gap at 15 yards is about 6 inches, so we want to shoot about 6 inches lower at 15 yards, and at 20 we're going to see what it does. My Kodiak recurve is dead on, point on is what they call it. I'll be careful. Dropped quite a bit. Let's do that again. And we got pretty good penetration though. I mean, you ready, Ben?
Yep.
I don't know, man. That was pretty point on. So it dropped a little bit compared to the recurve, but it felt pretty good. Did you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. It is, we're going to do some slow motion, guys, but like I said, that knock is high. And already tying it off right where it is, it seems to be flying like darts.
Yep.
Alright guys, so we're definitely getting that knock point pretty close already. We're gonna measure this brace height. Okay, so this string has already kind of settled a little bit, which is like I told you guys it would do. So we need to de-string it. We need to de-string it, put some more twist in, and try to get that brace height back up to about 7 1/4 to 7 1/2. All right, guys, so 7 1/2. Nope, 7 1/4. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna go ahead and shoot it. We're gonna see how it shoots with the brace height at that height and with the knock point a little higher like it is, and then make some fine-tune adjustments. All right, here we go, guys. Let's see what it does. Alright guys, so we got some slow-mo video. Best way to get your arrow flight and what it looks like. Put your phone in slow-mo, have someone stand on something above you, line it up with the bow, and then watch your arrow flight. So we're gonna check this out. You guys will obviously see it. I would say that is pretty dialed. So we're going to leave the knock point where it is. We're going to leave the brace height where it is. We're going to tie our second knock point. Alright guys, let's tie our second knot on. Okay. Our second knock. So one thing, guys, you want to remember when you're tying your second knock on is you do not want your knock, your second knock, to be pushed all the way up against the knock. You want there to be a small gap, so we're going to do that. So when you draw back and it changes the angle of that arrow, it starts to move down. That little gap keeps the space for it to move so it doesn't get too far out of place and it's not stuck on there. The reason I do a second knock, because like I said, I gap shoot. So when I slide my fingers up, it puts the arrow that much closer to my eye so I get a smaller gap when I'm shooting. That is the reason why. No, yeah, it's like point on right here, dude.